It isn't just a physical practice, otherwise it wouldn't have lasted. It's very deep, but it's very peaceful. It's mostly learning how do you react to things. You look at your thoughts as you practice. You watch your thoughts, but you let them go. You don't have to buy into every single thought that crosses your mind.
Yoga encompasses a multitude of physical, mental, and spiritual practices, with roots reaching back to early in the first millennium BCE. Most yoga practices today are forms of hatha or physical yoga. We spent time at the Yoga House in Watertown to gain insights into yoga's holistic nature.
So you learn how to be peaceful. You learn how to watch yourself breathe. When you breathe fully, it's physiological. Breathing fully actually affects the way you think.
When we have awareness of where the mind is, we can notice the changes in our energy, in our way of seeing things, in our way of processing things, in producing thoughts and such.
I would say there's really a little bit of something for everybody here. Our teaching style mostly falls in the vinyasa category, which essentially just means that the breath is linked to the movement. So all of us here at the Yoga House are vinyasa instructors, which is really nice because even though we all have a little bit of a different flair to our yoga style, we all kind of teach the same variation of yoga. So I would consider it a vinyasa studio for sure.
The great attention placed on linking breath to movement in vinyasa yoga aids the body in bringing itself into alignment with the mind and the spirit.
At the Yoga House, I teach vinyasa, and vinyasa can be made into strong, soft, or gentle. And sometimes it's just a fusion of between yoga and super gentle moves for the more delicate ones that come to class.
The goal is to create space where there wasn't space before, in your life, in your mind, in your body, everywhere. And what happens on your yoga mat really does stay with you in your life. There is a profound change that happens when you practice yoga regularly. And it happens so secretly that you don't even notice that it's happening.
Yoga itself is described in the Yoga Sutras as the settling of the thoughts in the mind, like they call it chitta vritti, which is the churnings of your mind. Because all yoga is really about is just learning you to recognize your thoughts are constantly in flux and they're not always in your best interest.
Habitual practitioners of yoga will find themselves with greater overall clarity, as well as a plethora of other physical and mental benefits.
Coordination, flexibility, stability, strength, focus, easiness, acceptance, all that comes from that. And yoga gives you the space to be able to develop and nurture those abilities to better one's life in whatever it is that we do.
You're brave to come to your first yoga class. The bravest people in the world are the ones who come for the first time. They know they can't put their foot behind the head, or they're not flexible or whatever, or they have all these judgments about who they are. But in spite of that, that's extremely brave.
So yoga really is a life-changing experience for so many people. But without trying it, you're never gonna feel those benefits. And it can feel really scary to try something new, especially if you're going into it, seeing all of these reels on Instagram or these pictures on Yogi Journal or all of these places where people are doing these impossible postures with their bodies and you think, I could never possibly do that. But if you show up in one of our classes, I can promise you that you're not probably gonna be forced to do one of those seemingly impossible postures. You know, we might play around with some postures that would hopefully eventually get you there, but we're not gonna force you to do it or make you feel like you're less than if you can't do it. So I think, you know, just if it's something that you're considering trying, create that space, for sure. Make the time.
From the Yoga House in downtown Watertown, for WPBS Weekly, I'm Guy Carlo.